Good afternoon and welcome back to the Daughter Arise channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Yvonne Ellis and I'm founder of the organisation Daughter Arise, and I'm creator of this YouTube channel. And this channel really is all about bringing you awareness about sexual abuse. That could be sharing my experiences, insights, news stories that I come across, any questions that get sent to me about sexual abuse. This channel really is to talk about everything to do with this subject, because too many times in society sexual abuse is not talked about in the realness of how it really does affect people's lives. So I haven't done a video for I think about 2 weeks now. Lots has been going on within my life. I recently left traditional paid employment. I've been creating other stuff with my company, Yumi Empowerment, and I was just taking a little bit of a breather just to be able to catch up and just have some rest and just explore other things. So today I wanted to come to you with a video about 5 things that helped me to find hope in the aftermath of sexual abuse. And I think this is a really important discussion to be had, because too many times when you've gone through sexual abuse, I don't know about you, but in my experience, it can leave you in a really dark place. And what I mean by that is that in the aftermath there may be complex family relationships or dynamics that you're having to deal with, like I did. You're thinking about all the issues that it's brought into your life, how it's hurt you, traumatized you, and I found that I didn't really think about in the earlier years things that would inspire hope. And that's one of the things I do try and bring on this channel as well, besides bringing you the realness of these topics to do with sexual abuse, but also as well trying to inspire hope, to let you know that there is life after being sexually abused. But when I was going through it at the time, it didn't feel like it. It felt like everything was bleak. I found it hard to have a positive outlook on my life. I thought my life would never get better. And it is no fault of anybody's who's gone through sexual abuse, because in the aftermath of it, it does leave you having to battle with a lot of issues, whether that could be mental health issues, as I said, family dynamics, low self-esteem and confidence. So today I really wanted to come to you and share with you 5 things that helped me to find hope in the aftermath of abuse, whilst dealing with the fallout of it, but also as well that has helped me to move on from my experiences. Now, that doesn't mean that I forget, even though I don't really think about what's happened to me in terms of the sexual abuse anymore. That memory, that scar will always be with me, but I don't sit down in the day. It doesn't cross my mind a lot, the things that have happened to me. But I think it's important to kind of try and share with you things that can help you to find hope as well. So number 1 is recognizing small changes. Now for me, this is really important, because when you go through sexual abuse, well, when I speak from my experience, when I went through it, I had really low self-esteem and low confidence. And sometimes I still do suffer a little bit of that, but not anywhere as near as much as I used to. So for me, one of the things that really helped me was recognizing small changes. Now that might mean that, say for instance, I had depression, I couldn't leave the house sometimes, but then after a while I started to be able to leave the house. It could be that I completed a task that I didn't think that I could do. Within myself, starting to say positive things about myself, because for a long time I couldn't say positive things about myself. I was quite negative about not only my outlook on life, but also about myself. So I started to realise, and I think it came through, you know, going to counselling and different things, that I started to see some improvements, because I did need that help to be able to move on from those painful past experiences. So recognizing small changes in yourself is really important. They may not be of any significance to other people, but we're not talking about other people, we're talking about you. And you know how your experience of sexual abuse has affected your life, and you know the things that you have struggled with for so long, have found so hard to overcome. And if you get a small breakthrough in those areas, I would say to you to celebrate those small changes, because at the end of the day, the person who is going to be the biggest cheerleader for you is actually you. Because, you know, it is important that we validate and celebrate ourselves and our achievements. So celebrate those, recognize those small steps of change that has happened in your life, whether it's your thinking, your mindset, actions, things that you used to do, didn't do. Another part for me as well, I used to get into quite dysfunctional situations. And I found that after a while, I started to try and find other alternatives, and did find other alternatives to deal with those dysfunctional situations. So those steps are worth celebrating. And you could even do something like treat yourself to something. It doesn't have to be expensive, whether that might be buying yourself flowers, or taking yourself out for a coffee, to acknowledge and recognize that you have made a small step of progress in your journey. Another thing that helped me to find hope in the journey and aftermath after sexual abuse was having dreams. Now, for a long time, I had dreams of wanting to become a writer. I wanted to do things to help other people, create stuff. I wanted to be able to do things that really things that I loved. And at the time, I couldn't really do them. And it was very, very hard because, you know, I suffered from depression and stuff. But I still held on to the dreams that I had. I wanted to become a writer. I wanted to write my own book. I wanted to create poetry. I wanted to do all these things. And having these little dreams kept a spark alive within me to say that actually, you know, that was a recognition that there was hope for me after my experience of being sexually abused. Now, I didn't feel that at the time because I felt like life would never get better. But still having those dreams kind of sowed a seed of desire for me to want to fulfill them. So what I used to do is to just write things down in my journal, things that I wanted to do. And, you know, I mean, that was back in my 20s. I had a breakdown, for instance, and it was very hard for me to believe that, you know, things would get better. So as time has gone on, I've wrote things down that, you know, I really wanted to do, dreams that I've had, things I wanted to accomplish. And that has kept giving me strength time after time after time. There were times where I would get knocked down, depressed, feel down and stay down, but then I would think about the hopes and dreams that I had, the aspirations that I had, and they would help me to kind of push through another day. And you know, it's been over 30 years since my experience of abuse. Actually, you know, it's been a long time. And you know, those kind of seeds of dreams and aspirations, those one day kind of thoughts, helped to foster hope in my life and helped me to push on. And here I am now 30 years later, you know, past all those experiences. I've done a TED Talk. I've got an organisation called Daughter Arise. I've just set up my company, Yimmy Empowerment, to inspire and help other people. I'm, you know, a consultant. I do so many things, and I'm at the start of a really exciting journey onto doing the big things that I want to do. So what I would say to you is that don't banish your dreams, aspirations, or hopes, because those are the very thoughts, those are the very things that will help you to still remember that, you know, another day will come for you. You may not feel it now, but I promise you, as somebody who has been there, that it will actually come. So don't give up on your hopes or dreams. Just writing them down in a journal, or writing them down and just looking at them from time to time, thinking about them, even in the times where you feel down or depressed, you know, these things will help you to you know, ignite hope within you. So hold on to those dreams. Another thing that helped me to find hope in the aftermath of my abuse was investing time in interests that I like. Now, again, this could be joined actually to, you know, not letting go of our hopes and dreams. Thinking about investing time in things that you like doing actually helps you to take time off your pain and experience of being sexually abused. Because sometimes I found that the memories just wouldn't go away, and you know, it just fed into the whole cycle of my depression and everything else. But then I started to invest time in things that I liked. And this, again, as I said, came off the back of not letting go of my hopes and dreams. So for a long time, since the age of probably 13, 14, I'd have been writing poetry. I love to write, I love to create, I love to engage in the whole creative process. That is something, that is my thing. That is what, besides helping people and supporting people and using my voice to empower survivors of sexual abuse, I have the gift of being able to empower people and inspire people and help people to, want to create a better life, and by just the things that I offer through my skills, experiences and stuff. So poetry for me was one of those things that I really enjoyed doing. Another thing that I really like doing is going to the gym. I love exercising. These are interests and hobbies that I like to do, and when I'm engaging in these things, I found when I was going through, in the real midst of everything I was going through that was really dark and horrible, just doing little things that I liked really helped to bring hope in my day, and helped me not to feel so bound by everything that was going on. For you, that might mean, things like going to the park, going and looking at different things, going to a museum, reading books of interest. It's really important to engage in interests and hobbies that you like. It may be hard some days for you to do it because maybe self-esteem or confidence might prevent you from doing these things, but try at least once a week to engage in an activity or hobby, something that you like. It could be the most quirkiest thing. Like for me, one of the things I shared on this channel was I really like knitting. Now I don't probably look like your typical knitter, because I think probably people think that, you're probably like a granny or something, but knitting is something I really enjoy. And when I was a child, one of the happy memories, one of the good memories I have is of my mum teaching me how to knit. And that's something I have passed on to both of my daughters. And my youngest one, in the autumn time, winter time, we like to knit. So that is my quirky, what people would say probably wasn't a hobby that they could see me doing, but I like to knit. So I would say to you, it doesn't matter how quirky or silly or whatever your hobby you might think it is, or other people might think it is, it's not about them, it's about you, and doing something that you love to do, you like to do, whatever it is. I would say try once a week to engage in that hobby. I have poems that I've gone back now for over 20 years. And I started writing poetry in care, and I do like to write poetry. I do like writing and blogging, and I've just finished my second book, but I love all that creative process. With poetry, it's a feeling I have and I let it out, and it could be about anything. It could be about how I feel, something I've seen. It could be anything, and that is one of my best hobbies is poetry. So that is something that I engage in when I can. And it's something that, it just takes my mind away from other things. I find it relaxing. So you must engage in something that you like to do, whether it's an interest or a hobby, something that is totally indulgent to you. And just doing that, if you can do it more than once a week, that's fine. If you can't, that's also fine. But try at least once a week to engage in that hobby, and you'll find over time, not only is it something that you like to do, you will engage in it, but it will also help to increase your confidence and your self-esteem. And, that is really important. Now, everybody has something that they recognize as in their life as the kind of pivotal thing that's helped them to find hope. Now, for me, my hope has come from Jesus Christ. He has been my hope, my strength, my joy, my everything. He's my foundation. I don't know what people think being a Christian is about, but for me, being a Christian is about having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And how that happens is that I invited him into my life. I recognized that he was the Son of God. I recognized he died on the cross for my sin, and I invited him into my life because I wanted a relationship with him. Now, in that relationship, like with any relationship, it's a two-way thing. I invest my time in this relationship. I read, for me, I read the Bible, and I get my inspiration, my truth from the Bible, and how to apply some of the things that are in the Bible to my life in a relevant way to my life. And for me, my faith has helped me to be the woman I am today. You know, if somebody would have said to me even 15, 20 years ago, Yvonne, you'll be standing up in front of people, giving talks, being a public speaker, I would have said actually absolutely no way. There's no way I would have been able to do that. Having a relationship with Jesus through the Heavenly Father has given me the confidence to be who I am today, and helped me to find hope, because going through sexual abuse is like being burnt to ashes. That's what it's like. That's how I kind of describe it as. When I looked at the aftermath that was left in my life, I had no relationships. I was broken. I was traumatized. I didn't know how to love. I didn't know how to even be myself. I had no identity. And just having this relationship with Christ has given me all those things. It's given me a family. You know, God says He will never leave me or forsake me. You know, He tells me He loves me. And I know that He loves me. And that has helped me to be the person I am today. And that has helped me to find hope. Now, being a Christian, a born-again Christian, doesn't mean that it is a magic pill that, you know, you say these words and all of a sudden everything disappears. No, it is a daily walk. It is a daily renewing of my mind through God's word, the Bible. It's a daily walk. It's going and having a relationship. Same way you might have a relationship with somebody you know. That is the whole process. It's not do's or don'ts. It's not religion or anything like that. It's recognizing and having a posture of heart to know that actually I have a relationship with the living creator of this universe, and that I seek to have a relationship that is going to bless my life with Him, and for those changes to happen within my heart and in my life. You know, and the thing is, I came as I was, and I was accepted as I was, but I ultimately I have been changed by this relationship, and that is one of the things that has helped me to find hope. Now, I can't speak for anybody else, but what is it that helps you to find hope? You know, for me, what I've learned through experience, you know, I've just spoke to you about this relationship that I have with Jesus, is that it has to come from something outside myself, something that is true. And for me, Jesus is the truth. God is the truth. So this is where, when I have feelings of feeling up and down, might feel despondent at time, might have doubt at time, or lack confidence, I know I can look at this foundation, this relationship I have, and be renewed and be strengthened and be revitalized through it. And from having this relationship over the years, my life has just bared so much fruit in everything. You know, I am blessed. I have, you know, a beautiful family. You know, I'm a productive, successful woman. And even in those times where I don't feel, sometimes when I feel doubtful about myself, this is what I can look to. This is the light in my life. So this is another thing that has helped me to find hope. Okay, so this one is about letting go, making a decision to let go of your past. Now, before anybody says anything, it's not meant to be in a negative way, because living with sexual abuse is something that many of us have had to do as survivors. But at some point, you have to be able to make a decision to start letting go of your past. Now, there are many factors that can be involved in this. It is very hard to be able to start the process of letting go of the past if, for instance, you are still living in the same house, same environment with the person who sexually abused you. I know many people who are in this predicament, and because they can't leave this environment because it's very expensive to move out. London is very expensive, or wherever it is. They may not have a job or whatever. They have to live in the same house as where the abuse happened, or with the perpetrator under the same roof. I can't imagine how hard it is. And in those circumstances, it's going to be very hard to start moving on from your past. I'm talking about, for instance, like myself, I ended up in the care system. And had to make my way through life. But what was happening to me for a very long time was that I was reliving the pain of everything every single day. And I had to get to a stage within myself to say, actually, I'm going to start to let go of my past. There's things that helped me to do that. Journaling, going through therapy, even something even something as hard as learning to forgive my parents. Now, I don't have a relationship with them, but the process of being able to let go of the offence that they caused me started to help me to let go of the past, because then I started to be able to look at my future. Um, my thoughts were not, tied up with thinking about the hurt they caused me and everything else. So starting to making that decision to let go of your past doesn't look like, okay, I'm just going to forget everything that ever happened to me, because realistically that is not going to happen. But there is little things that we can do to start to help us to let go of the past. As I said, therapy is a good way, counselling is a good way to start letting go of the past. And I am aware that counselling, specialised counselling for sexual abuse survivors, is very expensive. So what might have to happen in the first instance is if you can get some type of counselling from an organisation in your city or town that deals with survivors of sexual abuse. Failing that, you may be able to go to your doctor and get their generalised counselling, but then it will be just a process of the person listening to you, and that can be an initial starting point for you letting go of your past. Helplines are really good for being able to talk to people, but the first step of letting go of your past as well, and it may be something that many people can't face, because actually a lot of people can't face even doing this step, is acknowledging what has happened to them in the first place. That is the first, and before all the things that I've said, this is the first step you must be at in order to be able to make a decision to let go of your past. Acknowledging what has happened to you and getting the support and help to be able to deal with that. And then you can start to make the changes, start the process of letting go of your past. Now, this isn't an overnight thing. It took me the best part of a decade to be able to do this. So I'm speaking to you as somebody who understands that process. I've since my probably middle 30s, I think that I finished that process of letting go of my past. And as I said, it was like a decade process. But it is important to start to make those steps. It can take a little bit of time. And one of the benefits of being able to start to make a decision to let go of your past in the context of everything that I've just shared with you is that you can start to lead the life that you want to lead. That means that any decisions you make, after a while, you'll make it from a place of, this is what I want to do, not from, because of my past or whatever, my fears or insecurities, I'm making this decision because of that. It's two totally different decision processes. And there's nothing more powerful actually than being able to feel, as somebody who was violated as a child, to feel back in control of my life. To my own extent, obviously, ultimately, God has control of everybody's life, because we don't get here by ourselves. But I mean in terms of everyday decision making, whether it's what I choose to wear, what I choose to eat, the people I choose to have in my life, what I choose to say yes and no to. It is empowering to be able to get to a place where those decisions have come from me and not being influenced by past things that have happened to me. So I would say that is a definite benefit in being able to let go of the things of your past. As I said, it's a long process, but we can start to take steps to do this. Those little small decisions that we can make. But as I said, the very first point of call, very first starting point, before you can even get to that of starting to make that decision, is acknowledging what has happened to you. And you may be somebody who's buried it under different vices over the years. You may have tried to blot it out, but maybe it's surfacing in other areas of your life or in episodes of depression. But this is the most important aspect of being able to start any process in healing from sexual abuse. So that is my 5 things that I've shared with you to let you know about, finding hope in your journey in the aftermath of sexual abuse. Now, these are just 5 things that I'm sharing with you. You may have other ideas, but the point is, whatever it is that you choose to do, the whole point of it is to help you to find hope. And in finding hope in those little things, it will help you to get through each day. Because as a survivor, I found that when I looked at the whole picture, in all the emotion, all the dreadful feelings that I felt, all the memories and everything else. When I was looking at the whole picture, it felt overwhelming. I really didn't think 15 years ago that I would be here today talking to you like this. And that doesn't mean that I still don't have days, have days where things are difficult. I do, but because I have little things like I shared with you that have helped me to get through each day, that is why I'm still here all these years later. So I hope that you've found this video helpful. In the left hand or right hand corner, you will see the Daughter Arise logo. Please subscribe to this channel. Share this video with anybody that you know who may that has been through sexual abuse, or anybody you think would be interested in this topic. In the other corner, there'll be a video that you might not have seen before. Please feel free to check it out. I just want to thank those who have subscribed to this channel. You know, your support has meant a lot to me. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. You know, I try and cover a variety of topics to do around sexual abuse. If there's anything that you would like me to cover, please contact me at info@daughterarise.org.uk, and also feel free to check out the website, which is www.daughterarise.org.uk. If there's anything that you would like to discuss with me or get in contact about or want me to cover, then please get in contact. Anyway, that is it for today. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I shall see you on the next video.